Void 3.0 has changed the game for many Guardians, with the subclass rework breathing new life into classic builds. Well, today I'm going to check out a Hunter Void 3.0 build with Orpheus Rig, an exotic that once dominated PvE builds, and check out the best combinations of aspects and fragments and weapons and mods to create a devastating Hunter build that's going to help you through all levels of content in Destiny 2. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, this build is all about pairing Void 3.0 Hunters and Orpheus Rig. So these Hunter boots, they've been around for a long time in Destiny 2 and also in Destiny 1, and they've always been very good, but they've got a new lease of life with the Witch Queen expansion. Orpheus Rig has a couple of uses. You can pepper your enemies with the Deadfall super, tethering everything in your sight to the ground and weakening them, plus you've also got that huge DPS that the super can deliver, as well as getting your super energy back in the process. You've also got the extra volley with Mobius Quiver. Given Orpheus Rig gives you that extra shot, you'll be able to fire your super one more time, meaning more DPS, more tethering, and you'll be able to control the battlefield with ease. This combination, together with selected weapons and mods, gives Hunters a viable endgame PvE build with huge DPS, and you're going to be an asset to any fire team. Well, let's jump into this Hunter Void 3.0 build, and first of all, we're going to have a look at the subclass, and of course that is Void 3.0. For the class ability, I'm using Gambler's Dodge, and for the grenade, I'm using the Suppressor Grenade, and then for the aspects, I'm using Vanishing Step, so dodging makes you invisible, and I'm using Stylus Executioner, so defeating a weakened, suppressed or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight, and after performing a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. Well, next up, let's have a look at the fragments. So I'm using 4 fragments here: Echo of Expulsion, Echo of Reprisal, Echo of Undermining, and Echo of Persistence. So first of all, with Echo of Expulsion, Void ability Final Blows cause targets to explode, and then Echo of Reprisal, Final Blows when surrounded by combatants grant super energy. Then I'm using Echo of Undermining, so your Void grenades weaken targets. Then Echo of Persistence, Void buffs applied to you, Invisibility, Overshield and Devour have increased duration. So this is going to create a really nice combination. You're going to be weakening your opponents with your grenades, and of course you've got your super too. Combined with our exotic armor, Orpheus Rig, Echo of Reprisal is going to double up and help us have our super up much more frequently, allowing us to shoot more Mobius Quiver shots and control enemy territory whether you're in a fire team or you're playing solo. And then you've got the fun of making your enemies explode too. Next up, we've got the exotic armor, and I'm going to be using the exotic leg armor for the Hunter, and they are called Orpheus Rig. So first of all, one of the perks is called Uncanny Arrows, so provides ability energy for each enemy tethered to Deadfall anchors, and Mobius Quiver has more shots. Then you got a mobility enhancement mod, and you get increased mobility. So these legs are a random world drop exotic, or you can pick them up from Zur when he's selling it, or you can pick up that exotic engram. Next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So with the weapons, I'm building for endgame PvE content, specifically for Nightfalls, Lost Sectors and Raids. So I'm using the Bow Anti-Barrier mod. I'm going to go into that with my energy weapon. Then I'm using a submachine gun for my kinetic weapon, and that's going to help me with overload champions, but you can mix and match your weapons. With this build, I would just say in your energy and your power slot, I would use Void weapons. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much up to you. Well, for me, in the kinetic slot, I'm using Submission. This one is a legendary kinetic submachine gun with a lightweight frame, meaning the weapon has got superb handling and you move faster with the weapon equipped. It's already a great gun, but I've got one with Demolitionist, so kills with the weapon generate grenade energy, and that's going to really help us in our build. We're going to be throwing our Suppressor Grenade and suppressing enemies with our mods. Next up, in the energy slot, I'm using Le Monarch. This one is an exotic Void energy bow. It's going to go really well with my Void subclass. So this one is an exotic energy bow, and because it's a Void weapon, it's going to go really well with the build because of my Void subclass too. Then in the power slot, I'm using Threaded Needle. This is going to help give me a little bit of range. So this one is another Void weapon, and it's going to help me boost my damage. And given there was a flat 10% buff to linear fusion rifles, this one is going to be really, really good for this Void build. Finally, let's have a look at the mods. So the mods I'm going to be using can be split into two parts. So first of all, the mods that create elemental wells, and the second group of mods that cause effects from those elemental wells. So first, let's have a look at the mods that are creating the wells. And first of all, I've got Elemental Ordnance, so defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches a subclass energy type. Now I've got Explosive Well Maker, so rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns solar elemental wells. Now I've got Supreme Well Maker, so casting your super spawns 3 stasis elemental wells near you, and it doesn't apply in Crucible, Trials or Iron Banner. So we're going to be creating elemental wells by a few methods. When we get kills with grenades or when we use explosive damage, that's going to work really well with the Echo of Expulsion, and also when we cast our super, we're going to be creating elemental wells too. Well, next up, let's have a look at the mods that are going to have effects related to picking up the wells or with our grenades. So first of all, I've got Ashes to Assets. Grenade kills grants super energy. That's going to work really well with one of our fragments too. I've got Volatile Flow, so picking up a Void elemental well grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. And also using Suppressive Darkness, so when you suppress a combatant, I'm going to do that with my grenades, you also weaken them, causing them to take additional damage for a short time. And finally, I'm using Font of Might, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy, it grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. So with my energy weapon, Le Monarch, and my power weapon, Threaded Needle, that is going to get a boost of damage through Font of Might. Suppressive Darkness is going to work really well with our grenades, further allowing you to control your enemies other than your super as well. So Volatile Flow is also going to help you explode more enemies, and Ashes to Assets is going to contribute towards more super regeneration, meaning more super more of the time. And then I'm using Font of Might to bolster the damage output of my weapons. However, you can also use Font of Wisdom if you want to build into your recharge rate of your super. Well, that is it for the build, and let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and share any improvements that you've got down there with the community. Well, that is it for this Hunter Void 3.0 build with Orpheus Rig in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.